Good afternoon, students. In this session, we are going to discuss selection of the problem in research. So first of all, we will understand what is the definition of the problem and what is the problem. What is the term problem? A research problem is a statement about an area of concern, a condition to be improved, a difficulty to be eliminated, or a troubling question that exists in scholarly literature, in theory or in practice, that points to the need for meaningful and deliberate investigation. In some social science research problem, disciplines, the research, social science discipline, the research problem is typically posed in the form of a question. A research problem doesn't state how to do something. It is not a guide. Offer a vague or broad proposition or present a value question. After a problem has been selected, the next task for you or for a researcher is to define it in a form amenable to research. The definition of a problem amounts to specifying it in detail and narrowing it down to workable size. Each question and subordinate questions to be answered are specified at this stage, and the scope and limits of investigation are determined. Usually, it is necessary to review previous studies in order to determine just what is to be done and how it is to be done. Sometimes, while defining the problem, it is necessary to formulate the point of view or educational theory on which the research study is to be based. In case certain assumptions are made, they must be explicitly stated, means clearly stated. Formulation of the problem includes stating the problem in the form of statements, stating the problem in the form of statements or questions, which make the problem clear and understandable. Identification and operationalization of the variables concisely. Identification and operationalization of the variables concisely. And evaluating the problem in terms of its significance, originality, or novelty, or and feasibility. So let's talk about statement of the problem. We'll discuss each topic one by one. First, statement of problem. A good statement of a problem must clarify what is to be determined. or solve, or what is the research question. It must restrict the scope of the study to specific and workable research questions. So you are required to describe the background of the study, its theoretical basis and underlying assumptions, and specify the issue in concrete, specific and workable questions. All questions raised must be related to the problem. They should relate to the problem being studied or identified. Each major issue or element should be separated into its secondary elements, and these should be arranged in a logical order under the major divisions, like operationalization of variables. In stating a problem, the researcher should make sure that it is neither stated in terms so general as to make it vague, nor specified so narrowly as to make it significant and trivial. The most important step in this direction is to specify the variables involved in the problem and define them in operational terms. Suppose you have stated that you want to study the effectiveness of some television program on the performance of your students in some specialized groups. So this statement is broad and it communicates in a general way that what you want to do. But it is necessary to specify the problem with much greater precision. So for this, the first step is to specify the variables involved in the problem and define them in operational terms. The variables involved in the problem are effectiveness and performance of students. Not all terms. We have to only specify variables, effectiveness and performance. So these expressions are to be understood beyond their dictionary meanings. For example, the dictionary meaning of effectiveness is uh, generating the desired effect or producing the desired effect. This meaning is not sufficient for research purpose. So it is important for you to specify exactly what indicator of effectiveness you will use or what you will do to measure the presence or absence of the phenomenon denoted by the term effectiveness. Variables involved in the problem are effectiveness and performance. So these expressions are to be understood beyond their dictionary meanings. For example, the dictionary meaning of effectiveness is producing desired effect. But this meaning is not sufficient for research purpose. So it is important for you to specify exactly what indicator of effectiveness you are going to use or what you will do to measure the presence or absence of the phenomenon denoted by the term effectiveness. Similarly, you have to define the other variables performance. Also, in terms of operations or process that will be used to measure them. So, with this study, you might choose to define effectiveness as the improvement made by the students in sports on a standardized achievement test. The term performance might refer to the scores on the achievement test in some course. So it is worth to understand, it is worth noting that the problem should be stated in a way that it indicates a relationship between two or more variables. It should involve neither philosophical issue, values, nor questions of judgment that cannot be answered by scientific investigations. For example, should television be more effective in increasing performance level of student? Such value questions cannot be answered through research, and you should be clear, a researcher should be clear about these things. The question, what is there in television teaching that enhances performance, is a philosophical question because it can vary from person to person. Everyone would have different view about this. They will have, one will have different point of view, other will say some other thing. So what is there? You cannot confine it in some terms. So what is there? There might be so many things. So it is like a philosophical question which cannot be probed easily. So it should be avoided. In my next session, we will talk about evaluation of the problem.